joining me today on the Business Spotlight. Pew, pew, we have got pow, pow, another fabulous, fabulous example of an amazing business. Oh, this is an exciting one. Siobhán Gavigan of the Radio Room, who is so passionate about audio and all things radio. And she has created this amazing business that is going to inspire you all. I know it because that's what the Business Spotlight is all about. It's all about showing you that, yeah, you were dead right leaving that 9 to 5 and going after that side hustle and making it your main deal. And so, yet another inspiring entrepreneur. Oh, welcome to my live experience, the Business Spotlight, Siobhán Gavigan.
Hello, Elaine. It's lovely to be here.
Oh, I'm so
So good
excited
to
to
see
have
you.
you. It's so good to see you. It's so good to see you. For anyone who could be interested,
Probably not many.
Well, there will be some. We've got 100 mutual connections. There must be some,
Wow.
because because we worked in agencies at different sides of the table for many moons. And it's just been so great watching your business, a new business grow and from afar. But for anyone who doesn't know what you do, tell me, Siobhán, what do you do?
Thank you, Elaine. What an introduction. The energy, I love it. I am a radio and audio advertising specialist. And I say specialist as opposed to expert because, that really sets me up at the very top where, yeah, when I'm a specialist, it means that I know quite a good bit about what I do. And I know where to go and find information that I don't know. So it means that my brain doesn't have to be full of all of the answers all of the time. So the radio room is the only independent radio and audio advertising service in the country, which is a really nice thing to be able to say. I'll be going into my 10th year in business next year, which is just mad. It's really hard to believe. And it's funny, I kind of fell into it. It was never part of the master plan to be an entrepreneur or to be self-employed, but it's kind of where my career has taken me. I started back in working in radio in 1997 when Radio Ireland launched. A year later, rebranded as Today FM. I was there for a few years in music and working with Ian Dempsey on The Breakfast Show. Headed off to Australia to Today FM Sydney. No relation. I think they just liked the connection. So they were like, that's pretty cool. Come on in. I was a year there and then back here and back into radio. Uh, since then, and actually after that, I moved from editorial into what I call a proper job. It's not really a proper job, but into sales and the commercial side of things, the business end. And I got stuck there, but I actually love it. And I really found that even though I still do really enjoy, when I get involved in the editorial side of things now and again for clients, but yeah, it's really exciting, the business end. And I suppose what the radio room does is bring a very tailor-made service to clients, and they have the reassurance of knowing that their budget is being very well spent, or they're getting as much value as they can for their budget. So it's not generally the big agency brands that the radio room would look after. It's everyone from €800 budget to 80,000, 180,000, so it's that kind of middle of the road client, but really vast sector in there. So yeah, loving
Wow.
it.
Congratulations. And tell me, what was the story then behind you starting your business? Because I know
Yeah.
I never know whether to say what viewers or listeners, but whichever you are, I know you love to know why a business started because I think
Yeah.
they find it so inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah. So, over the years in various radio stations and media companies, I was coming across clients time and time again, mainly SMEs, who were kind of maybe buying into radio for the wrong reasons, or buying into maybe the wrong radio station. A lot of clients who were spending money out of their own pockets, and obviously I'm so respectful of that because as a business owner, I know, every euro counts, when it's coming straight from your pocket. But there was a lot of clients who might maybe buy on a radio station that they listen to themselves, but it might not be the right station for their demographic. I suppose with my editorial experience as well, I was constantly coming across opportunities that I thought, oh gosh, I was kind of nearly brand matching in my own head. So I was coming across features on air going, why is that not sponsored? Why is, that would be great for X brand, or for, it's a if it's a breakfast feature, there should be whatever cereal on that, or eggs, or whatever it is. But I was and actually on a much smaller scale, because I was in that SME business mode. That's who I mostly looked after over the years, apart from a few agency bits where we would have crossed paths. So I just felt there was a lot of opportunities going to waste on the media owner side, and also that the clients were maybe not getting details of or hearing about. So I just got to the stage where I felt that I am with because I'm working for one particular company and hugely respectful of whatever station that I was with at the time. I felt like I couldn't help them as well as I could, because obviously I didn't want to be recommending opportunities on other stations, or with other media owners. So I felt like I was just not helping the client as well as I could. And that's when I kind of thought, hey, I think I need to do a Robbie Williams on this. I need to leave the band. I need to go solo. So that's what I did. Yeah, so it took a long time, and it took longer. It took years more than it probably should have taken. But look, that's hindsight. Looking back now, yes, I should have done it earlier, but isn't it great to be able to say that too?
Yeah, it really is. And look, these things do take time, and like it's such a great business idea. A business, it's not an idea anymore.
Mm.
And just I totally get it. Having been a planner, I
Yeah,
completely get where you're coming from, especially for SMBs and SMEs, because quite often they get direct sales opportunities, and but they're for the wrong reasons. So the fact that you are there to go, no, hang on a second. If you put that with this brand, like it would just work so much better. So
yeah, yeah.
I just love it. I love what you
It's a
do.
value thing. And I think a lot of people are really tight on time. Again, SMEs may not have, what a big brand would have. So they mightn't have a marketing department. They mightn't have a marketing manager. It could be
Yeah.
the MD or the CEO making the decisions, or somebody who's doing digital marketing could be doing the traditional stuff as well. So I suppose what the radio room does is take that problem away. I'm all about, actually, it sounds really weird, but I'm all about finding problems, because in problems lie solutions
Yeah.
and ideas and sales and all of that. But if you can find, and actually I suppose it's a good piece of general advice for anyone starting in business, if you can get to the root of the problem. So if you can imagine, right, who do I want to work with? And then, put a name on them. So it could be Mary or Johnny, usually the two names that I use. But, imagine Johnny lying in bed at night and he's really worried about something. What is that? What's kind of keeping him awake at night? And try and solve that problem. And if you can identify that, then that's your solution, and that's what you present, as your business idea, and kind of keep that in the back of your mind all the time. But yeah, definitely saving clients time is a big thing that comes back. And then obviously money as well, because they have the reassurance that they're getting a completely unbiased view of the radio landscape, or the digital audio landscape, which I'm sure we'll get into as well. But they're getting a completely independent view, and they have the reassurance that it's backed up by data. It's not just my opinion on something. It's completely backed up by JNLR data, by data available from the likes of Radio Centre Ireland, which is a terrific new setup to support the industry here in Ireland. And yeah, a mixture of that. They just have the reassurance that their money is being well spent.
Brilliant. And what do they love then about working with you?
Um, I think I probably get a little bit carried away with my love for radio. So I think they definitely, if you meet me, you will well, I hope you will, but you're likely to, know a good bit more about radio and audio after a chat, and get an understanding of, not just my love for radio, but actually really helpful advice as well. I think a lot of clients get overwhelmed with jargon and, JNLRs and CPMs and CPTs and all that stuff. And, clients just want to know, here's my budget, here's what I want to do with this. What do you think? And they just want a basic solution. So I guess, one thing is I'm as helpful as I can be. I'm very honest and there's no bias. So I'm not on big, agreements with radio stations, or I'm not buying from sales houses. I am completely independent. I'm dealing directly with every station in the country. And then that, it works very well for my business, and the clients love it as well because they know that they're getting an authentic solution for their problem.
Brilliant, brilliant. Tell me, because you touched on it a bit. Well, I think I almost know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What part of your business do you love the most? What's your favorite aspect of it?
I left radio for a little while in my 20s, when I came back from Australia, and I had loads of debts, which is a great sign. It's a sign that I had a ball. So yeah, I came back and I got a job selling for a greeting card company, which actually was my first sales job once I left editorial. And that took me to the UK for a couple of years. And when I came back from there, and I got back into radio, and I left it again for a little while. I started a stationery company. So random.
I can
Um,
remember that actually. Yeah.
Wedding stationery and all
I
that.
do
Yeah.
remember that. Oh,
And actually,
we are so sisters from another mister.
oh really?
For sure. Like,
I love
like just
card
to get
shops. I
grabbed by an
love,
idea. Yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
love it.
yeah.
I love it.
And I kind of followed that for a little while as well. So kind of took another break from radio for a couple of years in my early 30s, so 10 years later. So I've been kind of always in and out of it. But it's funny, even though that business didn't work at all. It was, I wouldn't even say disaster, actually. I mean, yeah, on paper, an accountant would probably say that was a disaster. But I learned how to run a business.
Yeah.
So I actually loved that business fell on its butt because I learned so much from it. Um, so then when I got back into the radio, it was really easy to put the two together. And I had all that knowledge about, the basic stuff that takes a lot of time and can be very frustrating when you're starting out. So, the VAT stuff and the tax stuff and the invoicing and all the really boring bits, but the very, very important things that need to be done. And I was just able I just knew automatically how that all worked. So, to put that, I kind of had that in my kit already. And then to add in my radio, you know, love and knowledge. And I just put my hands together and da 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 da. It worked. I'm still
Yeah.
like not sure how, but I suppose it just shows you if the idea is right and the time is right, then go for it. And sometimes it'll be tough and sometimes it'll fail and sometimes it doesn't. And here I am. Thank God.
Yeah, doing so. That is so funny because I had totally forgotten about that. And I also had a fail forward, as they say on the
Oh,
other
I
side of the
like
Atlantic.
it.
Fail forward. Like as an entrepreneur, you got to fail forward. And I tell you what, I failed forward all right a few times. And I failed forward with my social events business in the middle of like the worst recession we ever
Ah,
had that I
yeah,
launched like
yeah.
2009. And but you learn, just like you just said, you learn, you learn, like I learned how to grow a list. I learned how to blog. I was like invited onto TV and radio stations rang me off the back of my blog. Like, so I remember doing an interview on Nova, like sitting on the bus going, God, I really hope they can't hear the background here, And like you just learn. And so, like you say, when the time is right, like it is for you and I right now, then you've got all that knowledge. And you also learn, like you say, like One of the advisors I worked with, she was like, if your business isn't growing, it's because you're not ready for it yet. And you need to figure out like getting the foundation right. Like, so like you say, getting the VAT right, I'm in an online business, so like getting your all the processes right so that you can like do it easily
Yeah.
and
Because
then you'll grow.
if you're trying to learn that and you're trying to get to grips with that while you're trying to sell your business, and I mean we're always selling, we should always be selling. So if you're trying to, figure out how Sage works, but you've got shed loads of, proposals and prices that you need to do, and that's really important because that's where your revenue is going to come from. But if you're being dragged down with the stress and strain of trying to, handle the basics, then it can be really, really challenging.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're dead right. It's great to kind of have that, love for both or aptitude for both and go, okay, no, this is important. Like get your accounts to your accountant, like so. Oh, that's
Yeah.
brilliant advice.
But the
Um,
variety, actually, and I think it's kind of one thing that I didn't mention, one of my favorite things about what I do, apart from working in an industry that I adore, is the variety. So every day is different. Every client has a different brief. They have, every client has a different message. There's a lot of conversations had with client on trying to push the boundaries a little on creative because, radio is entertaining. And in my mind, the ads should be as well. They're not, 9 ads out of 10 are very boring. They're, a standard template, and it's to try and I suppose there's so much clutter around these days. It's to try and rise above that and just have something a little bit different. My line that it's going to be on my gravestone. I swear it is. I'm going to have I better have a big gravestone. I'm going to have a lot of lines on there, but this is one of them. And it's that a really good audio ad should create intrigue and make people want to find out more. It doesn't have to tell the whole story. You just create intrigue. Like if it's an ad for a hotel or for a spa, the sound effects should nearly take you there. And that's actually as valuable because you're pulling on emotion and feeling. That's much more valuable than, are you tired and exhausted? Do you need a break? So it's trying to come up with different ideas for clients on that kind of thing. But yeah, variety. So I could be in a production studio one day, could be in a radio station the next. I could be in, one of my fabulous clients' business, seeing how their business works the next day. So yeah, variety.
it
I love
is.
that about the job as well.
It's so good. Like, I think if you're an alchemist of any kind and you're an ideas person, which you obviously are because you've gone in different directions before this successful business, then you need that variety. It has to be at the heart of your business
Yeah.
for you to enjoy it. And look, that's me as well. Ideas just come out of my brain. And now I've learned the discipline of every idea doesn't have to be a new business.
Yeah.
I can gift them to other people, and so having that variety when you have that kind of a personality, yeah, is good. Tell me, what advice would you give a new business to increase their visibility?
Mm.
Like,
I've
what
received a
did
lot
you
of
do?
great
What did
advice
you do
over the
to,
years. I
yeah,
think
yeah, oh goodness, just after kicking over something there. What did you do to increase the visibility of your business and what would you share with them?
and it was really difficult for me to do. Most people think I'm, very comfortable front of whatever stage, microphone. I'll let you into a little secret. I presented a few shows on Today FM going back years and years ago. Absolutely hated it. I thought that's what I wanted to do, and very quickly learned, no, I'm not good. I'm not good. When that light goes on, it's like, well, so I'm a real chatterbox. But yeah, when I'm put up there, I find it really, really challenging. And I've had to work a lot on that over the years, pushing myself out there. And I worked with who I still do work with, but Keith Walsh, who he was a 2FM presenter and he was on Breakfast and really great guy. And Keith started working with me a couple of years back and he really taught me the importance of putting myself out there and putting my face out there, because until I started working with Keith, it was the radio room, it was the logo, it was pictures of radios, it was pictures of speakers, it was pictures of Alexa, it was pictures of radios in rooms, but there was no pictures of me and no videos of me. So if anyone has a look at my Instagram handle or Instagram page, you'll see there's a lot of my face on there. So I do have Keith to thank for that. So he really pushed me, made me just step forward a little bit. It doesn't have to be a big step, but I think when you're talking about something that you know and you love, it does make it a little bit easier. So keep it simple, but push yourself out there. And also not, don't worry too much about what other people think. And I think most of us, it's human nature. We'll always be like, oh my God, my old boss could be watching this, or my clients could be watching. What if they, see me for the fraud that I am? Or, we can really overthink things. And yeah, so just try not to worry too much about what other people think, but definitely putting myself out there on social media was a really big thing for me and a game changer, actually. So, even though I'm still working on ways to be more targeted with how I talk to potential customers. Because I'll always have the support of my industry pals, and they're always on liking my stuff and sharing and all of that. But it's to make sure that I'm always thinking, right, who am I talking to here? Who's my audience? And that has really, really helped. So right across social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, etc.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
That is,
hard though,
yeah, yeah, it
to
is.
make that step.
Listen, like I love an old camera. However, if you go back on my Instagram feed, you'll just see food, trees, flowers, gigs. You won't see
Yeah.
me. And I had similar advice in the middle of the pandemic when I had to rely on online. Where it was like, okay, well, what's the point? No one's going to book a yoga logo, Elaine. They know your face.
Yeah.
Back in the time when I was had a little jaunt into being a yoga teacher. So yeah, people buy your face,
Yeah.
they want, especially on LinkedIn, they want to see who you are before they do a consultation with you.
Yeah.
And
It's a
so it's
trust thing as well.
yeah,
And it's a very well, I don't know if it's a very Irish thing. I think it possibly is, but people like people, there's huge credibility with trust. So exactly as you say, somebody's not going to buy a yoga class or a LinkedIn social media expert session, or they're not going to buy it from a logo. They're not going to buy a radio campaign because my logo looks pretty. They're going to buy because they want to see, okay, this first of all is a real life person. Great, that's number one ticked. It's also credibility, and it's knowledge, and it's reassuring people and businesses that we're an authentic setup here. There's nothing, we're not hiding behind anything. Here we are, we're doing our best to solve your problems. We'd love to work with you. And that's much more authentic than, you know, wow, look how pretty our logo is. Or yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
definitely, definitely. Um, okay, that's good advice for a business. But tell me now, what's the best advice you ever received as you've been growing your business?
Um, I have been so lucky to have some great leaders and bosses in my life over the years, and people who have really, not just told me how to conduct myself, but encouraged me to, add my own stamp to it. Um, it sounds so basic, but one thing I always remember is know your product. So whatever business you're working in, know it inside out. I worked in the Levi's store on Henry Street in Dublin when I was 18 and just started college, and I had such a great time there. It got me through college for the couple of years, but my boss there at the time, she used to have like a half an hour session before we'd open the store. And I knew that there was 42 bar tacks per half inch in a pair of Levi's 501s. Now, no customer is ever going to want to need to know that how many stitches are in there, per half inch on their pair of Levi's. But I always remember going, gosh, that's amazing that a brand would care so much about their product that they want the people representing it to know it inside out. Like literally, I could have made a pair of 501s. Um, So that was a really good piece of advice. Just know your product because you'll never get caught out. You'll never, you'll never fail a customer when you know what you're doing because you will always stand strong and, they'll always be very reassured. They'll get a good service. They'll come back. Everyone's a winner. So that was really a good piece of advice. And then other things like, say yes when you can. I carried that so far. And then the last few years, I'm like, yes, but you can also be a busy fool. So it's about getting the balance right on that one. So, again, going back to solving people's problems, say yes when you can. Ask clients, what do you need from me? Rather than what can I do for you? And I find that helps as well.
Brilliant. That's great advice. So then how do you promote your business? How are you finding those clients who have a budget for radio or digital audio from 800 up to 180 grand, like, or and so on? How
Yeah.
how do you find them? How are you promoting yourself?
Um, LinkedIn, I find is really good. Social media in general is really good, but I think that's well more the kind of Instagram than LinkedIn. But Instagram's very good for helping with the personality of the brand. So it's I don't take myself too seriously, but I take my business very seriously. LinkedIn is much better for targeting that business decision maker. So I try to do what I can on there. Probably should be doing more, but I'm getting there. It's not enough hours in the day sometimes, Elaine. So yeah, social media I do. Google Ads works really well. So, just to make sure we're staying on top of that. So yes, I'm at a fairly good stage now where I'm, up close to the top when people are looking for anything to do with radio and audio advertising. So that's great. That definitely helps. And then little things like having the updated the website a little while ago. It's ongoing, but one thing we added about a year ago was a contact button on the website. Again, it sounds very simple, but I didn't have it before. I had contact details, but now people can, if they're interested in having a look, businesses can go in, click on the button and fill out a short form, and then we can turn a proposal around much quicker now because we basically get an instant brief. Um, what else? And then some things that have really helped, word of mouth is great. Some things that have really helped is like local sponsorship. So I would, do very little investment, but like the local GA club or things like that. That's really good as well because there's big business decision makers working in, our volunteering in our GA clubs all around the country, for example. So if you can afford a little budget into those, that's actually worked really well and started some really good conversations. And then I guess overall, and most importantly to me, is just be really good to your current clients because actually they're the ones that are going to help you. The amount of business I've gotten through referrals is phenomenal, and it's thanks to my fabulous, I always say fabulous because I'm so grateful for them, but to my fabulous clients. And yeah, I ongoing get a lot of business because I've done a really good job for clients. So look after your clients. They are the key to your success.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Because both of us have been in the client business for years,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it just can't be underestimated. So,
yeah.
tell me, you're coming into your 10th year. So what is the dream for the business, for the next year and beyond?
Do you want the cheesy answer or do you
I,
want
I'll
the
take
honest
any
answer?
answer. I'll take any answer.
um, I kind like I'm kind of living it. Like I can't believe that, business is great and that I get to work in one of the most exciting industries in the world and that I've got this amazing team and I've got this amazing opportunity where we now have digital audio coming at us at a rapid rate. So, it's kind of it's naturally evolving. Digital audio is, the three different ways to consume digital audio, and it's very different to radio. A lot of it's in. your ears in the headphones, and it's podcasting, it's music streaming, it's listening to live radio through your Alexa app or your Google Home or whatever your smart device or you're listening to. So there's so many new ways to tap into a listener and to reach listeners with their message. And I suppose the beauty of digital is that um we can target. So we can, if you want to target 25 to 27-year-old females in Tala, you can do that now with FM. We can just drop a pin and target a 5 kilometer radius,
Right.
and only people in that will hear your ad. So, FM radio is absolute kingpin. You'll get your mass audience reach with FM radio. So that's the powerhouse still. But by adding a little bit of digital audio, you'll get superb incremental reach on your campaign for not a massive investment. So yeah, I suppose there's so much variety there. That's really exciting. I think that's going to be a big part of the future of the radio room as well. So yeah, it's changing from radio to, and not just audio, because I'm very conscious we don't drop radio. Radio is massive in Ireland. Like, even
Oh yeah.
listening to radio, Irish people listen to radio for an average of, it's just over 4 hours every day. That's 2.5 hours in the UK, just to give you an idea of the loyalty that we have on Irish radio. And so it's to make sure we harness that and hold radio very, very strong. Lots of people have said, would you not change to the audio room? And, absolutely not. Maybe down the line, but not for a long time, because FM is not going anywhere. So yeah, just, I guess, keep doing what I'm doing, embracing change, and delivering the best service I can for clients, and that's it. And that's
Oh,
somewhere between the cheesy answer and the serious answer.
no, that's brilliant. That's a great answer. Like, yeah, listen, funny, when I came back to Ireland after living in New Zealand, in 2007, I did a piece of work for the then GT Media. Shout out to Graham
Oh,
Taylor.
hi,
Hopefully
Graham.
sipping a wine in Lisbon.
Yeah.
Right. And it was all about like the way media was continuing. And it just shows you that like these predictions, you have to just be careful in terms of a local market, because
Mm,
they were heralding the end of press by 2027. And sure, press has been impacted, but like it's not going anywhere like in the
mm,
next 3 years. I don't think so. Um, so that just shows you, and radio isn't going anywhere. The personality, the commitment to radio in Ireland,
yeah.
and in certain other countries, like because I lived in New Zealand, the market's very similar in terms of
Mm,
radio.
it is.
That whole just passion for personality and that
Yeah.
connection. And
Yeah.
sure, I'm a massive Eno fan, like, so
Yeah.
and actually Ray Foley, I don't mind now when Ian takes a holiday.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Absolutely. Yes.
okay, Ray,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just, I think you're right. It's going to be the radio room for a while, and audio room, even, you know what, quite often names don't have to change, even when
Yeah.
progress might adjust something. There's something in the
Yeah.
heritage of a name sometimes,
Actually,
so
the radio room, didn't just come from I champion radio. The radio room is the name of the communications room on a ship years and years ago. So back in the 20s and the 30s, ships were out at sea, and the only way they had of communicating was in the one of the rooms under the deck, and it was called the radio room. So the radio room is a communications hub.
yeah.
So for that reason, it doesn't need to change. It does exactly what it says on the tin.
Yeah, honestly, I just think it's a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant business. So I'm going to drop your links around this video. But let's tell people how can they work with you? If someone is like, oh my, watching us now, or maybe watching on the blog later,
Yeah.
if they don't catch us live today, then they want to work with you. How can they start working with you?
Well, I guess the website will have all the basic details. There's some frequently asked questions on there, a little bit of information about what we do. But get in touch. Obviously, the website just has one job to do, which is just basic bits and bobs. But if you have a particular message that you want to get out there, if you've got an event coming up, if you've got something in your business that you want to promote and you want to promote it on a big scale, FM radio is the way to do it. If you're targeting females 35 to 54, you should be on the radio because that's where they're all listening. That's where they're all tuned in. So yeah, through the website, you can email me directly, Siobhán at theradioroom.ie, or you can slide into my DMs on Instagram. Oh my God, that sounds horrendous.
No, but do hell, why
That's
not? Why not? Just come
that's the
on into the
radio room
DMs.
_IRL. But yeah, just search us online. Get onto Google there and you'll find me without too much
Awesome.
difficulty.
Yeah, well, you've got those Google ads. Tell me again, I think I was encouraging you with my loud voice. Again, drop that Instagram handle.
It is the radio room _IRL.
Awesome. Awesome. They are. I think I was laughing at the DMs, sliding into the DMs. Perfect, perfect. Listen, it has just been a joy to talk again after so many years, to hear about your business. My joint passion for media.
Sure do.
So if anyone is in business and has a message that has to get out there immediately, frequently, then it's got to be radio. So, Siobhán Gavigan, it's just been a pleasure having you on the Business Spotlight. Let's sign out. This has been Elaine Walsh-McGrath, LinkedIn expert and content marketing strategist. Peace out.